What is up, guys? It is Carly here once again, bringing you another edition to the weekly dose of horror, and today we are getting into a little triple feature DVD set I have here, and that is the Carrie triple feature. Yes, this comes with the original movie, the sequel, and the 2002 TV remake with Angela Bettis. And I've had this forever in my collection. I've actually had this before I even started collecting, and just, you know, it's a cool little set to have. And I do like these three sets, especially with movies that I enjoy, because it's, you know, saves space when you're really into collecting. But anyway, of course, today we're going to be talking about the original Carrie here from 1976, starring Sissy Spacek, of course. And the story of Carrie, you're following this character named Carrie, and she's kind of just this shy, awkward, total misfit girl who has pretty much no friends and no social life or anything like that, and she lives with her psychotic, overly religious mother, so she has a really bad home life as well, and that kind of contributes to why she's so weird in school. And she kind of figures out that she has these telekinetic powers where she can move things when she gets overly emotional about stuff, but she doesn't really know how to control it or anything like that. She just starts kind of playing around with it and learning a little bit about it, but she really doesn't know the extent of it or how far she can really take it. And then you know, her classmates, they pick on her and give her a hard time, and then one day they take it too far, and all hell breaks loose. So that's kind of like what the back of the cover says. It's kind of hard to explain it. I mean, it's a movie that everyone pretty much knows the plot to. The covers always kind of give away what even happens in it, and of course it is based off of Stephen King's novel. I believe it was his first novel ever, actually. And in this case, I actually, for once, which is a rarity, I did read Carrie. I'm not much of a reader when it comes to these, you know, horror novels and things like that. I'm trying to get more into it, but I really hadn't read much. But I did read Carrie back in high school, and I thought it was decent. I feel like I had trouble following it, and I feel like it took me forever to read it, so by the time I would go back to it, I would forget what was going on. But you know, in that book, they do have her as this fat girl with all these pimples, and they make her more out to be a very unattractive girl, and having that kind of have to do with her misfits problems. But I do like in this movie how she's, you know, she's not the most beautiful girl in the world, but she's just kind of this plain Jane type of character who could potentially be pretty if she tried a little harder, and I kind of like that approach more. I just think it's makes her more likable and more interesting to kind of watch, how you do have this girl who, you know, she could have potential to be a little bit better, but everyone's just messing with her and picking on her. So I kind of like that a little bit more with the movie. But when it comes to the book, I really don't have many other comparisons because it's been so long since I read it and I barely remember it, but I do remember that detail. But to get into the actual movie, I mean, what can I say? Carrie is one that I've always loved. It's probably in my top 10 or 15 at this point. The thing about it is, though, it is very depressing, and it is kind of a downer of a film, and I tend to forget about that until I actually start watching it. So I feel like you do have to kind of be in the mood for this type of movie, but it is one that I have rewatched many times in my life. I think Sissy Spacek is perfect as Carrie. You know, you get Angela Bettis does a good job in the TV remake, and then Chloe Grace Moretz does okay in the 2013 remake, but there's just something about Sissy Spacek that's really memorable. She has those big scary eyes, like when the prom scene goes down. I just think she's terrifying and really it's just really eerie watching her stand there, and she's not even really moving or anything. She just kind of looks around, and all this chaos starts going on, and it's all her fault. And I just find it very creepy every time, and I just think she really nails the sort of shy, innocent character, and then you see her just break at the end, and I just think she really does a great job of portraying that, and I don't think anyone really has come close. But, you know, the movie in general, the score, I think, is fantastic as well in this movie. It's, like I said, it's kind of a downer score that plays throughout it. It's like the music that you get at the beginning of the movie, if you guys know what I'm talking about. It plays throughout the movie as well. But then you also get some eerie moments as well with the score where it changes up a little bit. And I think it's just very fitting for a movie like this. It's kind of, it's a horror movie, but it's also very dramatic as well, so it kind of fits with almost a drama type of theme. And the characters that you get, the high school girls, I think they do a fantastic job. They are honestly pretty believable, honestly. I think the stuff they do is a little over the top, at least for today's standards. I feel like when I was in high school, people got picked on and stuff like that, even myself included, but no one's gonna like throw tampons at you or anything like that. So I do think it's a little cruel and over the top, but at the same time, different stuff happens at different schools. Just at my school, things weren't that severe, but the way the girls do behave and their sort of attitudes towards Carrie and about her are very realistic in my opinion. Unfortunately, I have seen girls and even boys act like this during my high school experience, where just everything they say is extremely rude and unnecessary, and I think these girls in this movie really nailed that. William Katt as the boyfriend of Sue, and also the guy who takes Carrie to prom. I like him. He's a very likable guy. There's just something about him, something about his looks and just his personality is likable, and you can totally buy that while he is a popular type of guy, he also has a heart, and he's not a total douchebag, fake person. He's that perfect blend where he is popular and people do like him, but he's not an a-hole, and you can totally see him being nice to a character like Carrie, so I think that is well casted as well. I could go on and on about this movie. I have pretty much nothing but great things to say. Only thing that, some stuff does come off as a little over the top in the film, I guess you could say, especially nowadays. Maybe it's a little bit dated, but other than that, I think it's just got a very perfect, depressing atmosphere. The house that Carrie lives in is just always very dark and not well lit, and you can't really see the full effect of what it looks like, and I think that adds to the depressing nature she is going through. And her mom is just perfect as well in the role. She just has that crazed look to her, and she adds a lot of the terror. I actually think she's even scarier really than Carrie, just her whole character dynamic, and to think that someone's mom could actually act like this in real life is just terrifying. So overall, great film. The only flaws really are just some of the more over the top moments, and maybe some of the goofy moments as well don't always blend perfectly, but other than that, I think it's great. So I give Carrie a 9 out of 10. Yes. So thank you guys once again for joining me for this weekly dose of horror, and as always, I will hopefully see you next week.